All right, everybody. Game number 1, Fnatic against the Sandwich Monkeys. The round of 8 at the Summer Qualifier number 2. And we have Towers of Doom starting up. Sandwich Monkeys, by the way, it's not quite the old setup that they had, so it's a bit of a different team right now, so don't get too excited. I'm also not alone. I'm actually with Bakery right now, captain of Team Dignitas, going to Korea pretty soon to, of course, represent Europe at the Globals. And he's going to assist me today with his knowledge. First of all, of course, with the draft that is starting. And Bakery, as we have a Zeratul picked first, which for Europe is a bit atypical. We've seen him a little bit more often, which is nice, but still, a Zeratul first pick, I don't even know when I saw that last time in a tournament match. But that being aside for a second, you said that you actually feel like this is the best map of the Sandwich Monkeys. Why exactly is that?
I mean, we've played them on Towers of Doom, and they have a really good understanding, a surprisingly good understanding of how to play the map and how to fight efficiently on the map. So I think we're going to see them do that here. The thing, by the way, the Zeratul first pick, this is not something that we would have seen if this was Fnatic playing us or Navi or even Liquid. This is very much, they don't know TSM as a team and they want to deny the cheese. And the most common form of cheese on this map is Murky and Lost Vikings. And the best hero they can possibly pick against that is Zeratul.
Yeah, it's a good point. I mean, we've seen Vikings a lot, and even like banned out first, you have incredible control over the map, especially when there's a triple altar event. For now, with Zeratul, we have also Li Ming taking for damage, so probably Shrimpy on the hero again. And the fun thing is that you mentioned Murky, since we have seen Fnatic earlier today on Sky Temple with Murky, which is probably by now their favorite Murky map. I think in tournaments I've seen them on Sky Temple and Dragonshire with him. But also Muradin being locked down again for Breeze. So, yeah, what do you, by the way, make from these early Tassadar supports that we have these days? I mean, in the case of the Sandwich Monkeys, it might be a bit of extreme because we have him as a first pick, but it has become a very normal trend to go for an early Tassadar so that you have a bit more of an option to go into the double support. Overall, double support seem to be extremely popular again. What do you think about that?
Yeah, it's definitely on the up and up. Tassadar as an early pick, I'm kind of conflicted about because it kind of limits your options. It means you need to leave that healer spot open when the enemy team picks some high poke. And seeing the Zeratul and seeing the Li Ming, that is a good amount of poke. So we'll probably need to see a second healer here. But while it does do that, it also gives you good wave control and it gives you good control over the shrines themselves. So it's a nuanced pick. It's not all good, but it's not all bad either.
I mean, Zagara and Falstad for map control have already been banned out. Falstad, of course, as I said before, is a god on this map. When you have in the late game epic mount, I mean, nothing beats Falstad anymore. You just zip around like crazy. Tassadar, of course, I mean, he can help a little bit against Zeratul as well if you forego the Leeching Plasma on level 4 and go into the Mental Acuity instead. But Fnatic is now going for their ban, and oftentimes what we actually see on the second ban is that you are trying to get rid of ETC. It seems like a lot of teams really respect that mosh pit quite a lot. I mean, oftentimes you have heroes that can interrupt it, but so far I'd say every team is a bit afraid of running into that one mosh pit that turns the game, right?
Yeah, it's not just that. Like, obviously the mosh pit's a huge concern, but the other thing is there's only 2 tanky tanks with stuns. One's Muradin and the other's ETC. So taking one and making sure your opponents don't get the other is a very common strategy that works really well.
No love for Sonya with Blessed Shield. Alright, I see how it is. Poor Sonya.
Yeah, they want to deny the Sonya double support Tassadar, which is
Johanna. I wanted to say Johanna. Damn it! Now I screwed myself with the Blessed Shield there. Yeah. Okay. There's the Johanna, though. I mean, we basically have like a bit of a fight between 3 tanks these days, I feel. We have Muradin, Johanna, and ETC. And I've actually seen a couple of like the matches earlier where even a Johanna was banned out to force into an ETC. And now that we have Abathar, Fnatic even thinking about the Lost Vikings, that is something that I not necessarily expected after the Zeratul pick.
Yeah, the Zeratul pick definitely doesn't rule it out, but it does make it a lot more awkward. It would only mean that they have 3 main bodies.
Yeah, and, well, it seems like Vikings is really going to be their pick here. Vikings, of course, are great on this map, first of all, because you have great control over the map itself. Once that there are, like, more than one altar at the same time, especially when there's 3, you get pretty easy access to a few of them. and you have an option to go for Mercenary Lord on level 4, which is just absolutely crazy damage against all kinds of structures, and you can really just like get a bell tower super easily. And in this case, it feels like we're going to see a bit of Viking Abathur hunting during those shrines. Like, Abathur doesn't like that pick at all.
Yeah, Lost Vikings and Zeratul are going to be really hard for the Abathur to deal with.
Are you a bit surprised that they pick Abathur into Zeratul, by the way?
It's kind of bold. It's not as hard a counter as people think. Abathur still provides the global, he still provides the push, and he still provides a good amount of soak.
You mentioned the murky cheese. Can you explain that a little bit further, since it's currently... Okay, that like I would love to see Abathur murky, by the way.
I think, honestly, they're gonna really struggle in the standard fights. Just because they're gonna have such a disadvantage with the map pressure from Lost Vikings and Zeratul. We do see a lot of different things being hovered over here.
This is basically the caster meta that happens right now. The teams have figured out that you can really sometimes confuse the hell out of a caster by just like going through the picks. They actually lock him down. All right, I'm a fan, but I did not expect that. Have you faced them with this? You said you scrimmed a couple of times against them, or you played them at least in the last qualifier. Have you seen this before?
I've never seen them play Azmodan this map there.
Alright, so Azmodan Abathur, it feels a bit like we're back in the alpha where you could use the heroic ability after you went for the clone. That's not gonna happen here. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we have an Azmodan, we have an Abathur as well. TSaM is the only support. We said before that we are a bit surprised that they don't go into second support because there's so much poke against them. What do you make of this draft, Bakery?
It's gonna be really hard for me to call, I'm afraid.
Bakery's like, it's special.
Whose cheese is the best? Find out in 3 minutes, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. So guys, we're gonna jump in. Fnatic versus the Sandwich Monkeys. Vikings Zeratul going up against Abathur Azmodan on Towers of Doom, map number 1. Let's find out who's gonna take the first game of the series. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, yes, ADRD is indeed playing Azmodan. Nope, that was not a draft bug. We are going into game number 1, Fnatic versus the Sandwich Monkeys, and what the hell is happening here? To the left side, Fnatic with Breeze on Muradin. We have Quatnix on Liming, Smexy on Rhaegar, Aethero Angel on Zeratul, and Shrimpy is going for his Lost Vikings. So far so good with the Viking pick, already excited. But, well, to the right side of the map, that's where the party starts. There's Sandwich Monkeys with ADRD on Azmodan, and if that wasn't enough, we have Zarmany on Abathur, Lumpy on Greymane, Felox on TSaM, and ETF on top is playing Johanna. Once again, on color with me, of course, is Bakery, and we are both very excited for this game where we see Azmodan not going for the stacking build.
Okay, well, I was wrong on both builds that we'd see, so I guess my predictions for this Azmodan are out the window.
Alright, so our analyst and specialist just went completely out the window. There's nothing that he can contribute anymore. No, kidding. I mean, let's see how this is going to work out, because I can't tell you how excited I am for this one. You called it, let's see whose cheese is going to win here when we were in the draft. Do you actually consider Vikings still being cheese on this map?
They're still definitely cheesy. They force you to play a completely different style, and you need to try and draft around them, but they are kind of standard. We do see them a lot, so I'm not sure if I can.
Yeah, I guess the Viking bribery has been taken right now. We're having Zeratul with the Vikings, which of course always puts a bit of an interesting spin to it as well. And the Viking soak on all of the lanes is basically a thing as is. So we have Shrimpy already at the top lane. And one of the big deals, of course, on Towers of Doom is always that Mercenary Lord that you get on level 4 for the Vikings, because you can get so much damage out of those suicide squads that you just like run into the towers then. But Bakery, as I have you here, like if someone plays against the Vikings, like what's really the most important part against Vikings to do when you're on lane? How do you play against them, and how do you actually counter them the most efficiently in your opinion?
So, in a solo lane against the Vikings, you have two choices of what you can do. You can push and you can try and get the towers, or you can try and deny the Vikings the XP.
Poor Eric just got owned hard. So yeah, Azmodan wanted to go for Zeratul and hits Eric instead. Never lucky. Yeah, sorry, I interrupted you, sorry, but that was priceless.
So we see the Azmodan here. He's already got all the ammo, and he's going to try and take the towers with this wave. Or at least he would if he wouldn't be rotating down for the ulters.
Yeah, we have double altar actually at the beginning and already starting to go in. The Vikings can try and channel the next one. Abathar is not even moving out on the map because he's currently a little bit scared here, and for good reason, but puts the mines everywhere. We're seeing him already with a prolific dispersal as the level 4 talent. As you can see on level 1 also going into the added talent for his Locust. So probably going to be at least on 13-16 heading into Locust talents as well. Could be it, that is. Vikings still attempting to just like soak those shrines, but the altars channel them through. AD Ardy has been interrupting them so far, but he's down. That's the first kill. Fnatic off to a good start already, but they lose one of the shrines and only get the one in the middle.
Okay, well, I'm not sure if that was intentional, but that did a perfect job at forcing Fnatic to kill the Azmodan instead of interrupting the shrine.
Do you actually think that didn't even cross my mind that they could have baited a kill to get some time to just channel the shrine through? But in the early game, it would actually make sense. I mean, that kill
having
really
played with ADRD for such a long time, that kind of crazy thing that nobody else thinks of is the kind of thing he would want to do.
I mean, that would actually be ingenious. I mean, seriously. Early game, he's already back. Like, the death timer at this point is so low, so that seems to be really, really cool. If that was actually an intentional bait here. But yeah, right now we have inexperience. Both of the teams aiming for level 7. Zeratul is doing his thing. Athero, of course, jumping in. Level 4 as expected. The Mercenary Lord after the Viking bribery. Schwimpy on Eric. Oh, yeah. Eric is always in a lot of trouble there. And for Azmodan, by the way, we have the Army of Hell right now taken. So definitely not the standard build that we see for Azmodan. TSaM is now down. In the mid lane has been taken out here. But the top lane, you can really see that Azmodan is giving the Vikings hell up here.
Yeah, he's already taken the wall, but he is getting ganked. And that is the issue with the top lane in this battle.
Yeah, well, and that is also going to result in him dying. He puts a bit more damage in. But is, of course, also pretty... Well, he's a pretty easy target to hit, let's put it like that.
Yeah, he's just far, far too big, and that makes him so easy to body block.
Yeah, so Bound Minion is now also taken here, and which is basically like his form of... Yeah, damn it. What was the talent called again?
Promote.
Thank you. Yeah, that's it. Oh, for a moment. Yeah, that was the good times, right? Promote everywhere. Well, for now we have the Vikings soaking, while Schwimpy is channeling one of the altars. The second one over here is already under attack as well. And so far it seems like Felox might be able to get the channel through now. Nobody is getting him close to him. But again, a kill potentially as ETF on top dies on Johanna. So 32 points on each core. But we are seeing still a lead in experience for Fnatic. So Bakery, how would you judge that game so far? I mean, it's a pretty crazy match. It's not really what you would call a normal game, but your assessment of what's happening so far here.
Well, it appears ADRD's literally suiciding in the bot lane. I have to assume at this point that getting behind in XP is not an issue. Because there have been a lot of pickoffs and they're trading it for tower damage.
Yeah,
consistently.
They're putting in a lot of pressure. He kept the top lane more or less, and after that happened, he just started to move on other lanes. So he went for the towers up here, didn't even bother going for the bell towers, but instead started to rotate to the rest of the lanes. And now they're a level behind, which in this case puts them actually also a talent down, since the heroic has already been picked. Oh, TSaM in the mid lane now also taken out. Play again, by the way. Has been taking it too. Sorry.
There's a lot of clumsy play going on. This is what I'm talking about. When you have the control tanks, as we call them in Dignitas, which is Mjolnir or ETC, you can afford to be so aggressive. We saw in the very early game that TSM could not rotate at all because Breeze was stood in the rotations, and every time they started to walk up, Breeze just said no.
Well, for now we have again, like Schwimpy just soaking experience at the bot lane. ETF was trying to push that in a little bit. We indeed see the copy also, and we have Demonic Invasion taken. Alright, I'm liking that. It makes sense to not go for the black pool if you're not stacking in the first place. And yeah, it's very reminiscent. We've been talking about this a bit earlier, getting nostalgic here, about the good old times where the copy on Abathur could actually use the heroic ability and you just went for double Azmodan with double demonic invasion and just push down structures. But right now, Tassadar is dead again and he gets caught a lot here.
Yeah, and ETF on top also goes down. But they did take the top 4 and they're still keeping it at just the 1 level down.
Yeah, so it's 1 level, the top bell tower was taken, that's of course where the minions helped, and also Zarmany. It's only 3 shots that were fired, so it's not really a massive difference just yet, but with the 5 bell towers in the hands of the sandwich monkeys, like, it really feels they're just suiciding heroes in, as you said, trying to just like pressure the lanes out, and it's a very different style from what we've usually seen. Now once again, Camp's taken right now. We have in the mid lane Azmodan. As we said, he switched position. He's starting to get a bit more damage in here as well. Eric doesn't like that at all. But there's the level 13 for Fnatic. They go straight into, well, wormhole, tidal waves. Already a force wall down here. Olaf is down, but they try to go for Phelox again, and they might actually get him. Phelox is very, very low. Doesn't have a 13 yet. No prescience for him. Down he goes. That's 10 kills against 0. Rega is falling. That's the first kill actually for the Sandwich Monkeys, as we have Breeze also in trouble, and Greymane is jumping in. Breeze with the attempt to jump away, and he's not getting away as there is the 3-pointer from ADRD, and that is all out, like out of nowhere, a double kill that we're seeing for the Sandwich Monkeys against a talent lead as well.
Yep, we see the lack of fight presence that the Lost Vikings bring, and even though they start that out with a very free kill,
the slingshot kill against Abathur. Brilliant. I'm loving it. But yeah, another bell tower taken too, and I apologize, I interrupted you there, but yeah, the slug battle against Eric at the top lane was just precious.
Yeah. So, as I was saying, wait, no, I forgot what I was saying.
I mean, it feels like they're just really trying to control the map and burst the structures down. Now that they have the level 10 on Azmodan, they're always moving in to try and take a bell tower, and that seems to be somehow working.
It does indeed. I mean, the Azmodan's still not gone down, by the way. That was pretty crazy he managed to live for that long, but
yeah, I mean,
it doesn't appear to have paid off for them.
I don't know, what do you think is really the priority for them? Because at some point, dying is gonna be, I mean, like, it's a weird thing to say, but dying is gonna be a problem in the sense that the death timers are just gonna constantly increase. And at the early game, it doesn't really make a difference if Azmodan goes down, because he's going to be back a couple of seconds later if experience is not too much of an issue. But in this later stage of the game, they can't afford to die this often anymore, can they?
The thing about this map is that it almost always gets to level 20. So, and because there is no way to core, you can lose 5 people in the late game. And if you're unlucky, then one set of shrines comes up and you lose however many came up. So if it's 3, you lose 3 shrines.
Well, bot lane, we have Shrimpy taking back one of the bell towers, but another one at the top was already lost. And even though Fnatic has a 2-level lead and the extra talent, they are the ones who always have to try and reclaim their structures.
I mean, we actually see the Azmodan ult up again, so we could be seeing mid lane go down.
Yeah. Well, we have now Mirror Ball taken, we have Glass Cannon, so it's basically the build that Shrimpy himself also prefers, even though in this game he is on the Vikings. And we have him without a level 16 talent so far. Oftentimes it's going to be that stun on Olaf that we're seeing there. Maybe a bit of an adjustment for him. Abathur has, by the way, gone into the Soma Transference, so that's going to be a bit of extra health. And already, everyone just soaking lanes. ETF is at the bot lane, trying to just like put some more damage in. And here comes the Demonic Invasion from ADRD, and he just lasers that bell tower into the ground, or tries to. March of the Sin has been chosen on 13. Altars are spawning once again, and at this point, yeah, Fnatic is struggling at the bot lane, even though they have a talent lead against this.
That they are. Li Ming was not there though, and once she comes, they should be able to take a fight before 16's reached.
Yeah, and there comes the damage against ETF on top, who immediately starts to drop in hit points. Zero jumps in, Void Prison set up, and they're starting to channel now again. But Schwimpy already isolated here, down to the bottom. Johanna is now dead, they're trying to go for ADRD. The copy is up, double Greymane. As if one werewolf was not bad enough as is. Breeze is also struggling here, but gets healed by Rhaegar with a quick Ancestral. And Zarmini is about to lose his copy. Again, the attempt to go with the Vikings into the mid lane to at least channel that altar. Keep in mind, only 3 are controlled by Fnatic at this point. There's the 3 shots fired against the core, putting it down to 23. Like with everything, and in the middle we are having now another one lost. So that's 2 more points. That's all that they were able to get. They just got 2 altars, and all they got were 5 shots against the core of the Sandwich Monkeys.
They're actually about to lose the bell tower here as well. Fnatic are trying to defend.
It's a bell tower race that they basically initiate here with this particular setup, but now they lose 2 heroes, and by now the death timers are actually a lot higher. So I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but that should at least give Fnatic the chance to get the bell towers back, right?
Yeah, I mean, they only have lost Vikings, and they want to take the bot one themselves. So eventually, they are going to get the top and mid back. But they're prioritizing taking the aggressive bell towers first.
But can we kind of agree on the fact that it seems like the Sandwich Monkeys are playing a game where they just simply try to not necessarily win by taking altars, but instead by taking all the, like, first of all the bell towers, and then if they can, of course, get an altar, that too?
They got a bit overzealous in the bot lane, and I feel like if they'd played it just a bit slower, they could have actually controlled all 3 of the enemy's bell towers.
I mean, like, the thing is, once you have all the bell towers, an endless barrage is starting against, in this case, Fnatic. But if you at some point also manage to just sneak in 1 or 2 altars, it means that you get so much additional damage on your opponent's core on top of that, that it's getting a bit crazy. So it looked like a very crazy draft, but Fnatic is probably at this point just thinking, guys, this is not going to be as easy as we thought. Triple rewind, by the way, and we're seeing the Fury of the Storm now taken as well. So, oh, ADRD! Are they trying to heal him, but he might actually fall again? In comes the Zero. Zeratul gets healed, and the Void Prison keeps him alive. Like, this game is getting completely out of hand.
Yeah, this is pretty insane, and the Greymane clone is so strong with that auto attack damage. It actually kills Cracknix.
Yeah, up at the top lane, we're having, again, a tower taken back up. 20 talents are there. There's Abathur mines all over the place. Like, this game is getting absolutely out of control. 16 kills against 3, 2 levels ahead. But they are still, when it comes to the structures on the map, behind. In core damage, on the other hand, Fnatic is still up. They're still at 32 to 21. But at some point, we're going to see level 20 for... Yeah, we're going to see level 20 for the Sandwich Monkeys. How much of an impact do you think is that going to have?
Once they hit 20, I have absolutely no idea what the upgrade for Demonic Evasion... No, I do know what the upgrade is. They explode, which is going to make it even stronger at pushing these bell towers.
Like, Bakery, I have no idea how this game ends, but I have to say that this is definitely a very entertaining start into a match. And
by the way, I just want to highlight how well played that was by the Tassadar, the Greyman, and the Johanna for TSM there. They actually stalled it in a 3v5 for long enough that the Azmodan revived and then came back and they took the altar for themselves.
Yeah, at this point I was actually a bit busy at the top lane where the Vikings went with the pressure again, but as you already said, they took the altar. So guys, you could see it on the minimap. I didn't have it on the main screen, but we have now 27 points on the core for Fnatic, and that's because basically what I said earlier just happened. We have a massive control over the map on the side of the Sandwich Monkeys, and if they get all of the bell towers, they will start that barrage. But even without it, if they are just able to get one channel through, they immediately do even more damage than Fnatic did earlier. Think about it. They got one channel through, and they did the same amount of damage that Fnatic did earlier with a double altar. It's crazy.
Okay, so we see the Demonic Invasion on the top bell tower here, and it's taking pretty much half of its health every time he does this.
Yeah, well, at the top lane, yes, there we go again. And we have at the bot lane at least one reclaimed. Oh, there comes the play again on the other hand. Shrimpy is trying to counterplay this a little bit. But as we already said, that, so to say, promote on level 7 that ADR has been used to. Here comes Quacknix, and he's saying like, alright, this is going to be your end. And Azmodan at least is down, and that's an entire minute that he's dead now.
They almost get the top bell tower though, so it was almost worth it.
Yep. Oh, the hate! Johanna just gets blown up here. I mean, how mad are you at a point when you play this game? What do you think goes through the head of Fnatic right now? I mean, you've probably been in a situation where you faced very crazy strategies already. What do you think at such a point?
This is very, it reminds me a lot of the old promote meta, where you would take 3 promotes, you would avoid every single fight, and just try and win the game that way. Knowing the players on Fnatic quite well, I'd say they're actually quite angry at this point.
Well, the tilt game has started at the bot lane. Phelox, by the way, it's Protoss versus Protoss. We all know how imba these guys are, so the best way to beat a Protoss is with another Protoss. Phelox is already pushed back. Oh my god, that barrage! Oh my god! That could be about it! That's 2 points on the core! Only left, they got every single one channeled through. Fnatic is actually about to end this. They could go for a boss at some point and finish it. No matter what they do, if they get another altar, then it is game.
Yeah, as fun as the cheese has been, and I think it's definitely coming to an end. They do now have their level 20s, and surprisingly, they seem to be team fighting better. So it's still possible that they can get the win, but it's looking very likely that Fnatic can take this game.
As fun as this have been, like, how would you like to be on the side of Fnatic right now?
At this point, this has gotten to the point where with only 2, it's so close that you think to yourself, there's no way we can lose, but you know that there is. And you're so scared of how it would feel to lose this game right now.
Oh, the kill against Greymane, and ETF on top is also getting locked down, guys. This could well be an indestructible procs. We had a double Azmodan at the top lane, by the way. Like, this is just getting completely back and forth, and if these minions go through, then it's game, and they have to burst them down. That's exactly what they're trying here. It's the only reason why they're still fighting at this point. There they come. Force Wall used everything just to keep them away. The 2 points, and it's a double altar. It's now or never. That's Fnatic's chance to go in, but there's the kill against Johanna, and this should be it. Breeze is getting heals with Ancestral, better safe than sorry. The Vikings are already splitting up. Shrimpy is making sure that they get this. Another one in the mid lane, by the way. The bell tower went down in favor of Team Sandwich Monkeys. But as Azmodan dies, this is going to be the channel. The Vikings are going to finish a crazy first game between Fnatic and the Sandwich Monkeys. GG, well played. And that's not only, that's a lot of relief that we are seeing on Fnatic here. Great play. And we have the lead for Fnatic, ladies and gentlemen, in this best of 3 series against the Sandwich Monkeys at the Summer Qualifier. Alright everybody, we are already back, much faster than I thought, but well, we have our second game starting with the draft. Fnatic going up against the Sandwich Monkeys, and as already mentioned, in this case we are looking at a 1-0 lead for Fnatic. The Sandwich Monkeys have lost with a very interesting draft that nearly worked actually against Fnatic there, so it was a very strong push strategy there. We have Cursed Hollow as our second map, and once again, of course, I'm joined by Bakery today, the Dignitas captain going to Korea soon to represent Europe at the Globals. And yeah, it seems like in this game, or at least I hope so, that in game number 2, we are going to look at a bit of a more normal draft, but with Cursed Hollow the map, chances for that are pretty good, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I mean, there's still the potential for some cheese to come out from TSM. I expect to see another high priority pick on Zeratul here for Fnatic.
Bit afraid of what TSaM could do here, and yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, Fawcett, of course, banned out on this map. He's an amazing hero on basically any map, but on Cursed Hollow with the control that you get over bosses, over tributes in particular. Fnatic with a ban on Thrall right now. I've been thinking about this quite a bit and actually not decided against banning out Zul. Does that surprise you a little bit that they let Zul through?
Zul's very hard to deal with on certain maps, especially things like towers and things like Sky. But on Cursed, you can definitely work around it. He's not as oppressive in terms of the lane pushing and the tower control because it's not as important on Cursed.
So Liming as the first pick here for the Sandwich Monkeys. So nothing that Fnatic, like Zul didn't really make an appearance yet. Fnatic, who would have thought, thinking about Greymane and locking him down? I totally did not see that coming. I just wonder who's going to play him. Could it be Quacknix? Muradin as the hero here as well. I mean, this looks like a very standard opening for Fnatic actually in the draft. I mean, most of the games that I recently cast from them started off with the Greymane Muradin if they were second pick.
Yeah, I'm a bit surprised we didn't see the Zeratul, but the Greymane Muradin is definitely classic Fnatic.
So you mean Zeratul mainly because it makes them a bit more cheese resistant against the Sandwich Monkeys?
Completely. And it's also a very strong pick, of course, but the main thing is that it counters the kind of Lost Vikings, the Abathur, even the Murky.
We were looking at something like Greymane. Is that actually a hero that at this point you as a team would consider banning out against Fnatic right away? Like, is that something where you say, okay, we just ban him out because we don't want Quacknix on the hero? Or is it really something where you say, yes, it's strong, but we are more afraid to run into any kind of other combination?
We haven't prepared for Fnatic since Katowice, obviously. But at Katowice, we were very conscious of denying Quack the Folstad or the Greymane because we felt he's a much weaker player without those two heroes.
Yeah, on those two, on the other hand, he's pretty much a beast.
Completely, yeah.
Yeah, well, for now, with Sandwich Monkeys actually with their Stitches lockdown. So they go into the Stitches for their main tank. They have Rhaegar already as the heals. Again, a higher priority on Rhaegar as a healer. We've seen them use that earlier, especially with Shogal that they played. But unlike that, we're going to see that in this case now. But Rhaegar is apparently a healer that they really highly prioritize. In the last game, also played by Felox. Fnatic now on the second round, looking again at that Zul ban. You could, of course, ban a bit of damage out. Fnatic themselves, they still need their support. There's still like Charism around. Smexy could play that. They could go into that double support style that we've seen with the Tacita around as well. But Zul is actually gotten rid of. And the Sandwich Monkeys are making sure that Zeratul is not going to be picked. So do you think we're going to see like a surprise last pick again from Sandwich Monkeys trying to put some cheese in at the end?
I think we'll see an Abathur, which honestly, that isn't even too cheesy on this map. It's a great map for him, especially because of how much soak he can get in while you're fighting over a tribute. But during the curse as well, he soaks every single lane with one upgraded W.
Well, for now we have actually Sonya taking. I mean, Thrall was banned out, so Sonya was still an option. And the healer is saved for last. I mean, they have a lot of opportunities here, but it looks more and more like we're going to see that Charism again. Yeah, the Sandwich Monkeys, I totally agree with you, by the way. The Abathur would be great in this case. And so far, with the Zeratul banned out, it looks like it could be an Abathur for them. They have Liming currently as their only damage dealer, so we're probably going to see a bit more on that part. One of the heroes that has more or less disappeared, by the way. What's your take on that? On Jaina? I mean, even in burst comms with a lot of lockdown against a single target, Jaina these days is not really played anymore. What's, in your opinion, the reason for that? Just that simply everybody else does the job better, or is there something else?
Li Ming just does Jaina's job better. I don't think there's much argument about that one. But I feel like a lot of people are undervaluing her damage. She still provides the most burst damage in the game, and stuff like Ring of Frost and her permanent slow are still really, really effective. The reason that we don't see her, and this is mainly on maps like Infernal Shrines or Battlefield of Eternity, is she really does struggle to take the objective even after getting those kills.
Yeah, one of the things that's very popular in North America that we basically don't see on Europe at all is Zeratul plus Jaina as a Ring of Frost Blizzard setup. Whereas in North America, a lot of the teams really rely on it heavily to burst down targets in and out of teamfights.
Yeah, that's actually something that we picked up and used at Katowice against Fnatic. So, yeah, it's not forgotten by the EU teams, and as I was saying, that's why we as a team, we really like the Jaina, specifically on Cursed, because the objective is all about getting the kills and then channeling. There is nothing for her to lack sustained damage on in Cursed, other than the boss.
In this case, we have, by the way, Lunara as the last damage dealer. So yeah, a bit of a take there on the Jaina combos. And for now, Stitches plus ETC. So they actually went into a double front line. And with Rhaegar have quite a bit of sustain there. So Li Ming and Lunara should be kind of safe in the back. And with those close quarters, if ETC gets a good mosh pit off, that would of course be great. Interrupts in form of Maw, in form of a Stormbolt, and in form of Sonya's Spear are there. But in this case, Karazim, as kind of expected, is the healer for them. Makes sense, especially if Greymane, of course, decides to go into his Worgen form and joins the fun at the front line. Karazim is going to get a lot of heals out. So guys, game number 2 coming up next. Cursed Hollow is the map. Fnatic versus the Sandwich Monkeys. It could be the last map in this series, but let's find out who's going to take it. Sandwich Monkeys with another chance here. Cursed Hollow, map number 2. Cursed Hollow is map number 2, ladies and gentlemen. Fnatic currently is in the lead, which will in 1 second also be reflected by the overlay. So right now we're having on Cursed Hollow to the left side of the map, Breeze on Muradin. We have Quacknix on Greymane for Fnatic, Ethereal Angel on Sonya, Smexy on Karazim, and Shwimpy is currently playing as Zagara. To the right side of the map, the Sandwich Monkeys, this time with a bit more normal composition. ADRD on Li Ming, Phalox on Rhaegar again. Lumpy this time on Lunara. We have Zarmony on Stitches. And we see ETF on top on ETC. And yeah, with me, of course, once again, is Bakery. And this game could already seal the fate of the Sandwich Monkey if Fnatic takes it. What do you make of the two setups that we have here? Is there like any team that you would give a distinct advantage to with that draft that we've seen now from them too?
I'm actually very disappointed not to see Lampy on Li Ming again. I had a great time watching him last time.
So guys, just to clear that up for a moment, we actually saw Lampy earlier in a previous game that the Sandwich Monkeys play on on Li Ming, on Tomb of the Spider Queen, and his snipes were pretty much insane. So yeah, they had the chance to put him on Li Ming again, but this time ADRD is running the hero.
In terms of advantage in composition, I've got to go with Fnatic here, and it's mainly because of the front line that they have. It's going to be impossible to deal with. It's Monk, Sonya, Greymane, and Muradin.
Well, Monk is of course nice burst already at the bot lane here against the towers. The problem is we're going to see the same thing also up at the top lane where 2 towers have already fallen. So that gives Fnatic an advantage going into the game already in experience. I mean, at this point, like that push up to the top, how do you react to this? Do the Sandwich Monkeys at some point just have to call it quits and say like, alright, we can't go for the offense at the bot lane, we have to send someone top to defend here?
Yeah, at this point it's kind of too late. You've already lost most of the fort, and with the Zagara there, when it comes to the tribute, and if it spawns bot, Zagara's just going to be left top and she gets the fort anyway. So you have to commit, and you have to hope that you can take the fort before Fnatic can come down from that top lane.
And Fnatic currently is pushing this even harder, but at the bot lane, as we've already seen, we have the same thing going on right now. And by now, this is actually for the Sandwich Monkeys looking even a bit stronger here. Ethereal needs to be very careful that he doesn't get taken out. Fort is down on both sides. And, well, the top lane is also now eliminated with that tower. Both of the teams have hit level 4. Now, Blizzard actually put a patch into play that increased the damage of towers against heroes, because before that we've seen that a lot. Do you feel that towers in this case are still too weak and that this is a problem, or do you feel that these 3-man commitments to it are absolutely alright?
I think lane swapping is okay. It's something we've already seen in every other MOBA. And the issue they initially wanted to solve was not this kind of lane swapping, it was the level 1 rushing down towers, and they did successfully solve that. So I think this kind of trading forts is honestly pretty okay. It's not too boring, and it only lasts for about 2 minutes, and then the actual game begins.
Which is basically now, with the first tribute and both of the teams being on level 6 or level 4 talents are coming into play for this one. We have Spirit Walker's Grace taken, again the Lightning Bond as a level 1 talent. It seems like Phalox is really fond of that. We used it already earlier in a game on Infernal Shrines where it made even more sense than now. But at this point we're seeing him using it again, and pressure play here with nice zoning for Fnatic. That front line that you've been talking about is currently coming into play here. Yeah,
definitely. At this point they don't quite have the healing and the sustain that they will have at 10. So it's not too strong a comp, and I think we'll probably see them eventually lose this first tribute.
Yeah, well, slam build here once again. Oh, nice kill attempt here against Breeze. He gets away for now. Lumpy was trying to follow that up with his Lunara, but didn't get the opportunity. And the tribute is taken by the Sandwich Monkeys at this point.
Yeah, they just don't have the tools, such as Avatar and such as Palm, to keep the front line alive when they go as deep as that. Breeze was pretty lucky not to get punished there.
Yeah, I mean, he nearly died, and Lunara, you could see, was about to hit that final shot and then just got zoned out for a moment. The teams are both now in level 7, and that brings us again into Cleanse on Rhaegar. We're also seeing once more Sika taken for Li Ming. So most of the teams that we've actually seen so far today have gone away from that Calamity, which is very popular still in the US. Most of them focus on that missile build and go then later on even into the glass cannon, especially of course with the front line as being run by Fnatic. You should be safe as Li Ming to go into it. And we have also the cooldown reduction here for Zagara, heading straight into that battle momentum. With Lunara not making a choice yet, which of course could also bring us back into this Nature's Culling, which is especially popular in the US, but has been seen by a lot of European teams now too. What's your personal take on that talent?
I don't like it too much on Cursed. I really like it on maps such as Tomb. But on Cursed, pushing the structures is not as important, and once you get that curse, you can push the structures anyway. And the few seconds difference that it makes is not significant.
That hop on Breeze, well done here, dodging the hook. Well timed. He actually had some really crazy dodges already over the last couple of days. Zagara, by the way, is just now starting to come in, and this could be a second trip already. Zagara is being attacked as is. Shrimpy is attempting to get away there. Zarmony is running straight into those Banelings, just trying to go for hook, but the kill against Rhaegar. Fnatic capitalizing on the fact that the opponent was rushing away there. ETF barely getting out of there, and Smexy, yeah, a bit bloodthirsty, trying to jump after him, but not securing the kill yet. So, now as we have that tribute actually channeled by Fnatic, one quick follow-up to that Nature's Culling question, which by the way does not really apply to this game because we have Wild Vigor taken. Do you feel that Nature's Culling on this map would maybe be an option because of that focus that we have on the two bosses, where you can also like defend a bit easier or burst them down faster?
Yeah, it's got some more relevance, but again, mainly the boss comes after a fight, and fighting is the way that you win this map, because the bosses do not attack players. So even when you push with a boss to end, unless there is no keep there, you have to take a fight. And Wild Vigor is so much better in the fights that I feel like Nature's Culling just isn't as good as it on this map.
Breeze at the same time, by the way, is just like getting shoved around here by first of all ETC, and then also hooked in again by Zarmony. But a nice save actually. Smexy moving in and helping out, and we also saw Sonya starting to come over. It's still a decent lead for Fnatic, and I mean we have a tribute on both sides now. We're seeing the level 10s coming into play with pretty much the standard picks here. Palm taken. Zagara is going into... I have to actually say that Shrimpy in the last two games has been trying to pull a bit of an Ayakona. Really waiting a whole lot of time with his talent picks, but there's the more, of course. You're not going to go into Nidus. It's not going to happen.
Maybe next patch.
Have you seen Nidus play in this patch in scrims?
No, I've never seen Nidus play in my entire career.
Alright, I mean, we haven't seen it in tournaments, but it would have been really interesting to see if maybe someone, maybe like an ADRD team, went for a crazy Nidus strategy somewhere on the map, but apparently not. We have both of the teams on level 10, and we are seeing another fight here with now, of course, again, the attempt to just like zone them out here. This time, on the other hand, with the heroics, we have a bit more sustain. There's also that more being used. Ancestral still hits though, but Zarmony is completely isolated, and they are trying to jump in for this one. Shrimpy is already about to move away there. Oh, but he's too late, and that mosh pit hit home. Good damage, and well done. Smexy at the top is also in trouble against Lumpy, and the hook against the Thero should finish him off. Sonya is down, that's a double kill, and Smexy is now also about to fall, but barely keeps himself alive. Oh, it was really well done there.
Yeah, so actually that was kind of a misplay by Feliox there on that Rhaegar. If he was a bit more on the ball, then we could have seen the cleanse on the Mosh, and that would have kept it going and maybe got them the one more kill.
Yeah. Oh, and again, Breeze. This time he's gonna fall. I mean, like, even if he would have had the chance to just draft toss out of there, there's no way. And Charism is now dead as well. Now, do you really feel they should have been there in the first place?
That was far, far too greedy. Fnatic as a team is always so confident in their rotations, but at times like these, when they do not have all 5, and it's such a sticky team that they're playing against, they cannot afford to do that.
Alright, did you guys just really try to not say cocky?
Yeah, I did.
Alright. I mean, Fnatic, we know the boys, we love them, but yeah, that was definitely one of those situations where they were caught in a place where they shouldn't have been to begin with. So right now, what started off with 2 kills against them resulted in overall 4 kills, and they are now quite behind when it comes to the kill count. The boss is going to push the top, and Fnatic has to defend here at the bot lane since this is going to be a curse tribute. So the boss is going to get a bit of value out of this, but it's a very early boss, so it's not going to, most likely not even going to be able to kill the fort, but it's still nice pressure, and it brings extra experience also for the red team now. Boss has been taken by Fnatic at the same time at the bottom though, so it's an even exchange. But they pressure Stitches so far that the Ancestor goes through first. Good hook though. Smexy is very low, not sniped by AD on his Li Ming on the other hand. And Athero is isolated, which could become a huge problem as Lumpy is trying to go for the kill. And Fnatic is looking like they have to back off from this one.
Yeah, they're just not getting the picks that they need. Like, once the fight starts to go longer, they take so much from kiting into that Putrid Bile and into this slam build Stitches and into this Linar and into this Li Ming. There is so much poke and turn damage on this team. They need to end it quick and they need to pressure them off with their strong front line.
And the top lane has actually been taken down. That fort is dead. And that now means that, of course, with the help of the curse, the boss can get even more out of it. That's the reason why we see Quacknix rotate down to the top lane and making sure that he is dealing with this. Same time, though, ETF is going to be attacked. And once more, Breeze jumps out there. But it's a massive push on the side of the Sandwich Monkeys. It's total aggression what we're seeing from them right now. And it works out quite nicely. They try to get as much as possible out of this, even ignoring the mid lane where they could have aimed for a fort. But they want to have that keep, or at least the wall. They have level 13 talents as well, which gives them another nice lead. Again, Zarmany looking for a bit of a hook, and the call has been made to apparently attack the keep instead. 2 of the talents are still missing. There's the glass cannon now for Li Ming. We're seeing Stitches still with the slam talents. 13 versus 13 as Fnatic is picking their level 13 as well. Mid lane is being pressured down by minions, by the way. Quacknix maybe with an opportunity to jump in. And Thero is waiting at the side, trying to flank, but they're deciding against it. Again, it's the Putrid Bile that forces them back.
Yeah, until they decided to go for that keep, I was really liking the rotations, but I mean, they got half the HP, so that might be worth it, but they could have very easily also taken the mid wall, which I would have said was the safer play and usually more rewarding.
Yeah, more has been used now. Maybe that's a chance for a follow-up there. They go for the kill and they get it. ETC is down and that's Greymane's Q. He's starting to jump in. Quacknix, he wants his meat. He goes for Bambi and down she goes. So, yep, there's deer for breakfast. Well done. The Wolf gets some kills in. Double kill against them. 4 versus 3 overall, and Fnatic trying to ride the momentum wave by immediately moving into the middle of the map, dropping 2 towers, dropping the gate. And they have quite a lot of momentum and also the lead and experience. Again, that kill against ETC was really the trigger here.
Yeah, the other thing is a lot of people don't realize this, but you lose a ton of XP when you curse the enemy team. And since Fnatic was soaking the top and mid lanes, and they did not lose the bot keep, they gained so much. And as soon as they kill the ETC and they shovel the waves back out, and they take that bot fort, they suddenly have a sizable lead.
Yeah, I mean, they're looking at an entire level right now. That's crazy how that all of a sudden snowballed in their favor. Well, Athero is going for extra camps now too. By the way, we have only one hero on the side of Fnatic that hasn't died yet, and that's Greymane, with his 23,000 damage and 84,000 siege that he has currently. When we're looking at the Sandwich Monkeys, on the other hand, we're seeing the top damage for Lunara, as kind of expected, I suppose, with 37k and 52,000 siege damage for her as well. And Fnatic is heading straight into that level 16, which is going to give them the extra talent. So they are actually looking pretty decent here, but they suffered a lot of damage, a lot of structural damage, especially also, of course, with that keep at the bot lane that we are now seeing on half health.
Indeed, if TSM get the enemy boss in this game, then it's pretty realistic that they could end.
how often do you actually end up as a team in a situation where you can actually decide which boss to go for? Do you usually just try to decide on which map, well, like which is the safest on what side of the map you are, or do you really make conscious decisions oftentimes to just move on the other side and try to get that if you didn't just team wipe, of course, where you can do whatever you want anyways?
Yeah, it really isn't about what boss you want, it's about the position of the map at the time. So, if the enemy team is towards the top side and the tribute spawns top, you can rush their boss. But it's not as if you can choose between your boss and theirs.
And well, as the boss at the top is being attacked, Breeze is starting to move in. It's 16 versus 16 talents, which gives now, after the Mega Smash on level 13, Zarmany on your Stitches, also, of course, the Pulverize. Speed Metal has been taken, Showstopper on the other side, on the side of ETC. And with 2 tributes in favor of Fnatic, the next one would actually curse Team Sandwich Monkeys. We're seeing Fireflies taken as a level 16 talent on Liming, and an attempt at the bot lane to burst that boss away too. Up to the top, we have a Wisp following Breeze, who finally takes it down. That was a fast one, but the bot lane is being attacked right now, and that could be a disaster. Muradin is not with the team. If Zarmany gets a good hook, this could actually turn heavily against them. And once again, Aethero is starting to move in that side. Boss is very low, and they try to go for it. Muradin and Sonya are starting to make their way in now. They have to kind of jump on the point if they really want it, and that's exactly what happens. The Maw has already been used, and at the same time they're trying. They can't! It's perfectly on point! They can't grab the boss while ETC is more, but Lunara is down, and Quadnix with a kill against Liming! He's still alive, and now they go for everyone else. A double kill secures the boss. It could end up in a team wipe, as Breeze might have that stun ready to go for Velox, and the dog is rushing away. The Stormbolt hits home, and that's the team wipe they wanted. Oh my god, boss pushing bot lane up at the top. That would curse them as well. They can take that on the way back. What a fight right now. They turned so fast against the Sandwich Monkeys.
Yeah, we see how powerful this Fnatic comp is when the enemy team gets slightly split. As soon as those 2 backline got isolated, Quacknick saw his opportunity and just destroyed them.
Yeah, everybody went on the point, and actually with that Maw, it looked like they were trying to put the Maw a bit to the side so that they can still channel that boss in, but it was perfectly on point and therefore no way to walk on it. But after that, we saw just Quacknick, as you already said, he took the chance and he just destroyed everything. There was no peel anymore, and now they attempt to go for the core. Do you feel
it's
they
a
should
bit
go
of
back?
indecisive, actually.
Yeah.
This could be a threat.
Well, there comes the mosh pit. They're trying to interrupt it, of course, too, but they still go for it. It's 40%. Now they're starting to come in with a little bit more. Quadnick's palm, it's triggered. Smexy goes in. That's the kill. And GG as Fnatic takes down the Sandwich Monkeys with a 2-0 victory at the Summer Qualifier. And that is it, everybody. GG and well played. The game's over, and therefore also the video for today here on Khaldor TV. We had another great Heroes of the Storm match, and I hope that you enjoyed it. Also hope that you enjoyed the commentary, of course. So thank you very much for tuning in today. If you enjoyed the video, make sure that you give it a thumbs up on YouTube. And of course, if you haven't subscribed to Khaldor TV yet, you should definitely hit that sub button as well. If you have some friends that like Heroes of the Storm, then definitely make sure that you show them the channel and also the video. There's a lot more where that came from. We're going to have like continuous content throughout the next few weeks with more Heroes of the Storm matches played, not only on the European server, but also on the North American server, in tournaments, in leagues, and more than that. So guys, once again, thank you very much for tuning in today. I hope that you had some fun. It was a pleasure casting for you. And I'm going to see you next time with even more videos here on the channel. So have a great day and see you soon. Bye-bye.